I think we're live. Hopefully, if you can see me, let me know. I am using a new software to go live, and I want to make sure that you can see everything, that you can hear everything. If you can't, let me know, because I need to make sure, because I'm just still new at this whole live thing. I just want to make sure everything works the way it should work, right? That's something that's important to me. And yeah, so if it's working, please comment, text, or comment below. Let me know. I want to make sure that the stream is acting properly and that you guys can hear me. So without further ado, we're going to get this started. I'm going to assume that you guys can hear me, and we're just going to go from there. However, for some reason, I can't with this new software. I wonder if I can see. Yes, I can. Humble Bear, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that very much. That helps me a lot. So let's do this first. First off, we're going to go over some of the charts that I traded yesterday. And if you have any questions at all while I do this, feel free to ask. And also, if you have any questions about charts you'd like me to review, feel free to let me know. What's up, Sai? What's up, High Def? What's up, Rodrigo? Justin Jimenez? Ryan? Humble Bear, thank you, man. Thank you so much. I love the dog, the corgi. Thank you so much for being a supporter of the show and pledging a small donation. It means a lot to me, man. So, first off, let's talk about the overall market. I love this right here. Look at this strong trend. You probably saw me tweet about this yesterday, but I had a gentleman on my show named Cody, from his tag is Odd Stock Trader, and he actually is a really good trader. He mainly focuses on OTCs, but I mean, he's a good trader in general. And he posted about this line right here, and this is the same line that I've been watching for a while now. Now I gotta adjust this a little bit. It's not perfect, but this is a strong trend that we have, right? This is a very strong trend. And because of this trend line, I'm paying attention very closely. Now, I don't make any assumptions. I don't know if this is going to crack. In fact, this could be a good dip buy. But what I do know is I'm ready. Like, if this starts to break below here, the odds are very high that we're going to get a nice pullback. And then the pullback area is where maybe the 367, but nothing's definite. But I'd like to see 360 test. But then we had this stimulus check. Everyone got approved with stimulus checks again, so we could go higher and go back because everyone's going to put their free money back into the market. That's a possibility that could happen as well. Good morning, Lauren. That's a very high possibility. So I don't want to make assumptions that I know what's going to happen, but I do know that the odds, are favor if lines break or if lines hold. So that's the thing with trading. Like, it's not just a one situation. I don't just have a plan for one thing it's going to happen. Hopefully you hear, and if you're new here, welcome. I've been streaming all week except one day. I missed one day this week. And live trading too. So you'll see that I have plans. And if things don't happen, then I don't execute a trade. And I have a plan for SPY. If it starts to crack, then I'm probably going to be short in the market. If it starts to hold, then it could be a good dip buy. But right now, I'm not sure. So we'll be watching it. But let's go over. What's up, Ravi? Thanks for being a supporter, my man. Welcome back. What's up, Cousin Hermes? What's up, Nail Carter? I did short GME the other day, and I also longed it. You can see I missed GME this day. I just didn't even touch it. I just missed it. But I shorted GME at, I think if you missed it, if you can go back and watch that short live. I was in at 146. I covered most of my position at 110 and at the lows. I think 110 guys. I think if you guys were here, you saw me cover at 110. But that's also in the previous live that I did. Why I shorted it, it's pretty clear. You can see this downtrend. You see this uptrend, and we finally got the crack. And because of that, I was really looking forward to shorting it. And not only that, but we had this line that cracked as well, which got me in the position. When this cracked, I was really ready to be in it, and I started to short all these pops against this line. It was choppy, don't get me wrong, and that's where risk comes in and stops. I don't just short here and say, if it breaks this line, I'm out. I have key areas. Like, this is a key area right here. This previous support, I said, if it gets above here, I'm definitely getting out. But after this wick happened in the 5 minute, came back and then popped again and failed, I was risking off of here. So you'll see that risk evolves. It's not just a set in stone thing. It doesn't evolve because I'm nervous, because I'm scared. Because when it does evolve and it's because of those reasons, then I'm going to lose. And I'm going to take unnecessary losses. I'm just telling you that now. Or I'm going to take stupid trades. So let's review the first trade that I have up on right now, guys. I believe that's JE. Yeah, we got JE up on the board. So with JE, oh, cool. Hey, man, thanks for the donation, Ravi. I appreciate it so much, my man. That means so much to me, dude. I don't know why, but like it should pop up that you donate. I don't know why it's not doing that. Like, why is it not doing that? I got this new thing, guys, where it's... Oh, Robbie, there you are. Thank you so much, brother. It's working. You're awesome, dude. You know why I'm excited? Because this is the first time that I've had this feature. So I'm trying to try this out. So I'm trying to evolve. I'm trying to get better. And I am. I'm trying to work at it. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that very much. And thank you so much, man. So to get back to it, first off, let's go ahead and review JE. So yesterday, for those who weren't here, I shorted JE, and you can see that on the chart here. Let's go ahead and clear everything out. So I always look at the daily chart first. It's one thing that I always want to watch. And let me pull up my JE trade because I need to be looking at it too, right? So JE was an interesting setup because at first we have a breakout, right? I'm definitely aware of that. But this breakout to me, I mean... You can have a gap fill, but once it fills, we're going to reject. At least that's what my assumption was. And because of that, I had a plan. I had support drawn here and support drawn here from this gap down. So if you go in the 4 hour, you see it lines up perfectly. Look at that. And so that's what I'm looking at first. That's the first thing I see. So hopefully you see that right away, that when I'm looking at positions, I'm looking at the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30-minute, the daily, before I decide on a plan. Now, because of that, I already had a general idea. I didn't want to long it because I don't like to long stocks that this just went from 350 straight up to 450 breakout. It wasn't really consolidation. It just tanked, broke out. I had someone in the chat the other day, hopefully you did well, because they did point out to me that, hey, it's at 450. It's a breakout. What do you think? And if you would have bought it, yeah, you would have been right for a little bit. I mean, there's definitely range there. But at the same time, it's a straight up spike. It's a straight up spike all the way up from 450 break. I mean, from 386 to 465. That's a spike, man. I would not be buying that breakout. However, when it came back down, you may be able to risk this 310 area, 425 when it broke out again. And hey, Jeff, thanks for the donation, bro. Appreciate it so much. What do you think the first red day? What's up? Do you think the first red day works? I do. I do think it works. And you know what, Jeff? I'm going to go into that. Let me write a note so I don't forget your question. I want to get into that, Jeff. First red day. I'm going to be getting to that right after this point, and I don't want to miss out on that question because I want to show you. First red day doesn't always mean first red day, and I'm going to explain that in a minute because a lot of people, including myself, I used to just think first red day, short, and I'm going to explain that. But get back to JE. When we start to break out again and start to go, we start to hit resistance, which I drew previously, right? That's why I always draw my lines myself. I don't use any technical indicators. VWAP is on my execution chart, but I'm not looking at my execution chart when I'm trading. I am looking at Thinkorswim because if I look at VWAP, it'll kind of mess up my head. I'm telling you so many times it's messed up my head, so I don't even look at it. Now, I do pay attention to it if it sets up with a certain, like maybe it's an uptrend and they both touch, then I am watching it. But look at this trend right here. Do you see that line? Does everyone see this line? This line was my indication that we're in an uptrend, right? And because we're in an uptrend, I'm not just going to get in right away. But I do see resistance. I'm not just going to short because I see resistance because we're still strong. But once we broke under it, you can see in my executions, I think I took it right there on that break. The only thing I wish I would have done better, I'm going to let you know right now. If you look at that chart, I went in full size on that break. I don't like that. And I'm reviewing it now. I'm not happy about that because if it was wrong, then I went in way too big, way too soon. What I want to do is take a position, maybe half size there. And then when it starts to reject confirmation, I can get back in full size. So when it starts to reject right here, this is where you should go full size. And so, you know, it is what it is. It ended up working out. I ended up trading it well. I did get stopped out. You see, I got stopped out here because I didn't like this action. And I think it's because I got in too much too soon because we went here, stopped, came back under, broke above. I got stopped out because I didn't like this, you know, break under, then break, even though it's still holding. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. That was a nervous mistake on my end. But when I saw it still hold and start to reject, I got back in full size. And at that point, you know, I was feeling good. And here's the other thing. When I got in full size here on this break, I had wide risk, but I got stopped out earlier. So it wasn't really a full size loss. I think it was like a half, maybe a half at best. And so whenever I got full size here and we start to drop, it ended up being a really nice trade. So that's something I want to show you guys. Now I covered way too soon. Like hindsight's always 20/20, but I'm happy with the trade. I covered at key areas. I covered support here. I covered at support here, and I was done with the trade. Like I'm not gonna hold this stock and hope. My first cover here is because I think we had VWAP here and we had support. It's not just because of VWAP, okay? But I saw support here, and then I look at my execution chart, and I'm like, VWAP's there too. Okay, I can use that. So I covered a small piece down there. So that's the JE trade. I'm hoping that makes sense. Let me know if it does. But if anyone has questions on JE, feel free to ask me, and I'm happy to go into that. Otherwise, I'm going to start answering the question for Jeff. So Jeff, let me answer your question. First red day. If you just look for first red day and just think, okay, when this stock goes red, I'm going to short, you're going to take a lot of losses. You're going to take a lot of losses because what's so important about trading is looking at the big picture. Because look at how I reviewed JE. When I reviewed JE, I didn't just say, oh, look at this. There's an uptrend and it broke. No, I did not do that. In fact, what did I do first? Look at the daily. Look at key levels. Draw them out. Then go to the 4 hour. Then the 1 hour. So you get the idea. And so what I'm doing is if this stock is like up a ton, right? If it's up a ton and then we start to show a trend break, right? We start to show an indication. Maybe it's up so much. And then the next day, you know, maybe it's up from $1 to $3. The next day from 3 to 4. And then the next day we open at 4, drop to 350. I wouldn't short that. It's red, right? But what if it spikes up to 4, squeezes to 420 with tons of volume, and then death candle back down to 350? That's a good indication that I may short pops. On top of that, if there's a strong uptrend on that chart like this one here, if there's a strong uptrend on that chart like this one, and let's say every green candle's a day, and it does that every day until that green candle, until it breaks that trend, I wouldn't short with size and confidence until that happens. So just pretend each candle is a day. That's how I would use first red day. If you look at it like that, your odds will go up significantly because it's not, oh, first red day means short, because if you do that, I'm telling you guys, you'll take a lot of losses. And that's people who are pushing courses and chat room services because they want to make it so simple that anyone can do it. And that's cool. But at the same time, it's not the truth. You know, it's just, hey, let me show you part of the problem, but not really, or part of the solution, but not the full solution. And I feel like it's very vague there. So I'm hoping that helps you, dude. So Jeff, thanks, man, for the donation. And I hope that helps your question. So there was JE, right? Christian, that's awesome that you got the super chat pop up. Yeah, dude, I can't believe it, dude. I can't believe it. If you're not a subscriber right now and you like the content, please hit that subscribe button. I have this cool feature. Like if someone subscribes, it should do something. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm testing this whole new thing out. I hope it does work. If it does, that would be so cool. But if it doesn't, it is what it is. Hey, AJ. Why he donate him 20? Donate me 20. He doesn't need it. AJ, Dude, come on, man. You got to be someone, if you part of this community is all about giving back, not about being jealous, not about envying others. Because if you use that envy, it's going to ruin you, man, especially for trading. Because people who think that way are also the same people who are comparing themselves to all these traders who just flex all day on Twitter and don't really help you. But then it starts to make you judge yourself that you're not doing too well. And don't fall into that, bro. Like, just always think about giving back and giving back to others and what you can do to help other people. And it always comes back, brother. So just always know that, man. Always know that. But much love, dude. I don't have any hate for you. I'm just letting you know. Just my own thoughts. Paul, support or resistance lines at the end of the wick or at the end of the thick candle? I personally like wicks. I also like candles, though. So if it's a key area, Paul, if it's a key area, listen up, man. Then like this right here. So this makes sense. If you look at this chart, this makes sense, right? Resistance, support, breakdown. And those wicks make sense, but there's some occasions where, like here, this may make more sense to use the candle, right? Look at this pre-market, great, and I missed this breakout. This right here is a great little trade. We get an ascending wedge, and then we broke out. This was a good little trade here, and we have volume. I missed this completely. This was the time to buy it if you're looking for a breakout in this play. And right here, look, you're using these tops of this wicks and the body of the candle. So it all depends, man. Like, it has to make you feel comfortable. So let's go to the daily. So on the daily, a good example is, let's find one. Let's find one. So, for example, this area. It's all by preference. Like, for me, that's resistance, right? Maybe I'd get in more size at 125 because we definitely have some sales there. But right here, this whole area, I mean, you can even build a case. Like, if we start basing above this area, then that's a good indication I can start swinging long if we start basing, right? So you got to be careful. Like, nothing. Hopefully you're realizing that trading is not simple, right? It's not simple and easy. Trading can be once you start to learn everything and start to put it together. The challenge is you got to learn everything and remember it when you're trying to put a plan together. So I hope that makes sense. Let me stand up for a little bit. But at the end of the day, man, you just need to know, like, it's an art and a science. Nothing is perfect. But if you look at this chart, look at this one right here on the daily. Do you see how this is like obvious? Those are the ones that you may want to look for, especially when you're new. You want to look for the obvious situation. Like, if this part is obvious, right? Like, if you look at it, you know that's support. There's no question. So look what happened. Like we talked about earlier, if it's bases, we start to base, boom. See what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that makes sense to you, man. Let's go into, I'm going to go into the regular trade, another trade that I did. Ravi, do you prefer trading listed stocks or OTCs? Ravi, why is it so a delay on that? Jeff, oh, you just donated, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, bro. I'm so new to this, Jeff. I don't, thank you, bro. What is the best time to short? In the morning and the first red day. In the morning. But there are, like I said, it's not that simple. So whenever you're trying to short something, look how at JE, look at that chart right there, right? If you look at that chart, let's say that was the first red day, okay? But it's spiking. And then I'm not going to short it until we start to break and get a trigger, right? I'm looking for a trigger. And that chart up there, the case was it's breaking the uptrend. That's what I'm looking for. So I need you to get out of the mindset of it's as simple as if it's first red day and it's the morning, get in. Because I used to do that, man. And I sucked. And I would be so frustrated because I'm someone who thinks black and white. You ask any of my friends, that's how I always used to be, and I've changed because of trading. Like, I'm starting to realize a lot of things are in the gray too. And I'm starting to realize that a lot of things are depends. And with trading, I'm very chart first. I let the chart tell me. I don't like just because it's a red candle say I got to get in, because there's so many times that I used to think at first, Jeff, I used to be like, okay, if it's up 3 days in a row, red day short, that worked until it didn't. And then I got frustrated. And then I see all these other people doing well. It's because it's not that simple, right? There's so many things that got to line up together. You need confluence. You want not only the uptrend line to break, not only is it the first red day, but maybe we have massive volume rejecting at the same time. Like all of that together means instead of risking, let's say if you're risking $1,000, instead of risking 1,000, I'm gonna risk 2,000. Oh, now they're all together 3,000. So that way it just depends, right? It just depends. Let's say, hey, high def. How do you manage risk when swing trading since you can't set hard stops? Yeah, you can, dude. Oh, pre-market and after hours. So I don't care. If it starts to go down pre-market after hours, I don't care. Like I plan for that. So if I'm swinging, like I'm swinging UAL, for those of you who are new, I got in at 44.50 and I sold already 2/3 of my positions on this push. My last sell was at 51, I believe. And then I'm still in it because look at this daily chart. Beautiful downtrend channel, uptrend forming. And then we get this break. I'm getting in and then rode it all the way up. And I'm still in it. But my plan when I got in here, guys, was my risk was like right around here, 42. And I gave myself the flexibility that if it starts to break below 42, I can manage it to touch 42. Okay? But if it broke, my stop was 42.8078. But if pre-market was hitting 42, then it hits 42. And then if it opens there, I'm out. That's fine. But I planned for that for what I call slippage. Like if we get slippage, you got to plan for slippage. Okay. Now, if it would have just gapped down to 40, then I'm going to manually exit that trade. But at the same time, like don't size in so big that if it did gap down to 40, 39, that you lose all your money. Like that's another thing about risk management, especially for swing trading. Swing trading is a lot slower. Although when I swing traded GME, it happened in 1 hour, but it was supposed to be a swing trade when I got in at 49 and it went to 200. It's dumb. That doesn't happen. Okay. But in this case, I've been in this trade since what is this day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days now. And I'm not kidding you. I only peek at it maybe once every other day because I have alerts letting me know. I have orders sitting that's going to execute me for a stop loss. I have orders ready to take for profits. As of now, I'm not taking any orders for profits because I'm going to ride this trend out until it tells me to get out. So hopefully that helps you, Jeff. What are your long strategies? One of your favorite ones? Hari. Well, here's one of my long strategies right here, brother. The one I was just talking about. I just love when channels break and they hold. Like this one broke. And keep in mind, I didn't just get in because it broke, right? It broke, and then we had an uptrend too, and then we had this downtrend break as well, and we held this uptrend that's coming down. We held that. That's my indication, Hari. There's so many things that have to line up. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me if you do subscribe. I appreciate it very much. The other thing I was going to let you guys know, I've been doing lives a lot more. I've done 5 this week. 4 of those were live trading. So make sure you hit that bell so you're notified when I do them. On top of that, one way you can give back is share the channel with other friends, other traders, because it helps me grow. And I appreciate that very much. If you want to go above and beyond, you can hit that join button to make a small pledge donation. And it helps me grow the show. And if you're wondering what the actual Be the Trader show is, you're going to love it. I interview tons of successful traders who are way better than me, who are killing it, and I share their insights with you on my show by interviewing them and ask them very good questions. So make sure you subscribe to watch those. I drop every Monday and Wednesday. I drop actual videos for you to watch. All right, so let's go back. Let's go into the other trade, shall we? We're going to go ahead and move on. We went over JE. Let's go over Ruby. Can you guys see Ruby? If you can see Ruby, please say you can see. Just type in Ruby. Just type in Ruby. We'll go into that trade. All right. Ravi, man, if you came out with your own guide, it would be straight fire. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I don't know. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I just like just doing what I do, giving back and just helping. That's if I do come out with a guide, I tell you what, it wouldn't be fucking excuse my language. It wouldn't be, 800 is a cheap price. All these courses is just dumb. They charge 1,700, 1,800, 2,200. It's just ridiculous. And then they don't show you everything. All right, let's go over Ruby since everyone can see it. So first off, what do you think I'm going to do first, guys? I'm going to look at the big picture. I always look at, this is the same thing I do. This is the same thing I do. Why is it like super fadey? This is annoying, this camera. This is the same thing I do every time I trade. I look at the big picture, then I go down time frames. So I look at the week, the monthly, and sometimes I don't see anything, right? But you know what? I see resistance there. Then we go into the weekly. I recognize that we have resistance here. And then we go into the daily, and I'm like, oh, but look at this chart. We're breaking down bad. Like, this is a big panic, right? So what do I see? A key level, $11. So now I realize I don't even need to use these, so I can get rid of them. And now I'm like, okay, well, we also have a little uptrend here. Do we not? It's pretty obvious, right? Got a little uptrend there. And look what happens, guys. Do you not see this already on the daily? Then I go to the 4 hour. And I'm like, where would I like to enter on here? Look how it lines up. I want to enter up here. That's like an ideal entry spot, right? Let's see if I even did that. Let's go pull up the chart. Yep. It is what I did. So now if you look at the chart, I'm not just looking at this. This is more of a guide. I'm not just going to short blindly. Now, some people do that and they freaking kill it, but that's not who I am. And I'll just don't do that because every time I just short blindly, I lose. And if I don't lose, maybe I'm right, but I'm so uncomfortable that I end up taking a loss or a small gain. Okay, so once I had that in mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, it is spiking. So right now it's not really a short because I don't want to guess where it's going. But I am paying attention to it. And right now we also have a little breakout. And we also have a little strong trend, right? And now you see it. How do you see how identical this looks to JE? This is literally JE. This is literally JE. Look at that. Same thing. And what happens? Same thing. Came down. Why did I cover? I covered at key areas. Support right here, right? And did I even cover like that? I think I got impatient on this one. I may have got impatient. Sometimes I get impatient because I'm just like, I don't like trading after 11 Eastern time. I like to go to the gym, which I did after that live. And this was all live, by the way, guys. If you haven't seen this trade, all these trades I'm reviewing right now were done live yesterday. So make sure when you get time, go watch that live and you can see it. But it's literally the exact same setup, guys. And keep in mind, I didn't just short blindly into 11. I waited. So hopefully that makes sense. If you see the exact same thing I see right now, type just like Hari just typed. Thanks, Hari, for saying that. Carbon copy. If you can say carbon copy, then I know you see what I see. Humble Bear. Have you ever thought about making your own chat room? You know the easiest thing to do in this business is that create a chat room, charge a monthly fee, and make bank. That's what all these gurus and furus do. If you are new here, maybe you don't know, but my goal is to change the trading community for the better. I want to change it for the better and do right and make sure that if I can point you in the right direction by giving back and helping you, and then my hope is you do the same, that you can give back to the community and not go that easy route. It's easy to create a chat room to make money. It's easy. But the way I want to do it is just give back. And if you want to give back to me, you can do super chat and donate whatever you want. You can hit that join button, make a small pledge. You can just subscribe. You can share the show. Like, that's what I'm about. Okay. So I've thought about it a long time ago, but I've decided that's just not me. And I'll never say never, but for now, I have zero plans to do that. I enjoy just helping and not feeling obligated and all of that. Like, I just don't want to get in that situation. So I appreciate it. And I have nothing against people who do it because I have friends like Nate Michaud from Investors Underground, a good friend of mine. Just texted him this morning. He actually does a Sunday scan that's freaking valuable. So make sure you watch it. He does really well at that. So, and he's a good guy, you know, so there's a lot of good people out there too. But I also feel like there's some people who have chat services who started off good intentions, but they're just not good teachers. Maybe they don't really share on purpose everything. And then my question is, why are those teachers not doing live trading? Why are they doing just look at my P&L and taking snapshots? I don't know. That's just my own question. Now, let's go ahead and see. Yep. So people see carbon fiber, carbon copy. Just subscribe today, brother. Thanks for subscribing, dude. I don't know. I guess I don't see if you subscribe. It doesn't say like, oh, it doesn't pop up and say someone subscribed, but oh well. I was trying to make that feature happen, but it's not happening. So welcome everybody. Welcome, Jonathan. Sunday scan is fire. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty dope. Let's go ahead and look at the next trade since we just did that one. I could have done better on both of these trades, but you know, at the end of the day, I can't complain. I am happy with that because you know, the man upstairs takes care of me, and I appreciate it so much. And I, you know, at the end of the day, every trade I can get better at. And this one, I could have been a little bit more patient and waited for a better entry. So let's go ahead and go into LIXT. DIACA 808. Thanks, man, for the $5 donation, dude. I appreciate that, brother. You know that you could donate and ask your question at the same time, so it highlights the question, so that way, you know, I can answer your question if you have one. But that's just a nice gesture. Thank you, man. Drinking my coffee. I appreciate it. Now, let's go over LIXT, okay? So LIXT, this trade, let's go ahead and start it over. The first thing that I saw, as always, I go into the big picture. We're at all-time highs right here, everyone. And I always look at all-time highs as blue skies. And I signify that or indicate it by making a blue line. Because blue skies, it means I need to be careful. It means you need to make sure that you know there's a chance that this thing could just go. So because of that, if I'm going to short it, I need to be very careful. Now, I wasn't just looking for a short. When it's blue skies, in fact, I'm looking for a long. But if I don't see the long, I will short it. So the next step is I go down to the smaller time frames. And right now, I don't really see much. I just see a spike to 850, drop, held blue skies, spike back up. So there wasn't really much to go off of yet. 15-minute, nah, can't really see much yet. Remember, it's pre-market we're going to be focusing on. 10-minute, nothing. But then when you get into the 5-minute, you can see here that we start to get a little bit of a trend, right? And you see I draw multiple because I don't know which one's going to be the most significant, right? I don't want to make that assumption that I know. And so whenever this started to happen, right, when this started to break down, I believe I didn't get in this pre-market because I just wasn't sure, because it is blue skies. I'm being a little bit more careful. And hopefully you're seeing that it's not just one thing. I always reiterate that. It all depends. Everything needs to add together, and I got to feel comfortable. Now, you could have taken the short on this break, but I could have easily saw this just hold this area right here. See the support? It popped here, failed, came down, popped around here, failed, came down. Then we held, then we spiked. So it could have easily held this area. So I didn't just want to assume it's going to break down, because if you short chasing here at 730, you got to risk 830 and your potential reward 660, because you got to assume that support will hold to at least take some profits. Because if you just hold to hope, you could take a big loss. But what happened at the open? So now I was watching it. I was interested in the short, and I was looking at this area too, because I was like, well, it topped out here around 8:55 Eastern. Remember, my time zone is Central, just FYI. So when you see this, you're seeing Central on my Thinkorswim. When we broke down, I'm looking for a short. Now, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, I'm happy with the trade, really happy. I ended up taking a starter position on this pop. I had my full size sitting here at 780s because I wanted to risk this 820 area. I figured if we could pop up to this area in the 8s, I would love to get full size and then risk 820, looking for a pullback, because then even if we pull back to 680, that's a great risk reward. And then if we pull back to where the original started at on the push, that's $6 to 780. That's $1.80. So that's a great risk reward. But when I saw weakness and I saw it struggling, it was struggling so bad. Once it failed here, came down, I didn't chase. Remember, guys, I got in on this pop. When we popped and we could barely squeeze, like it was not squeezing. When I see that, and I'm patient, I was waiting. If you watch the live video, you'll see. Then we just failed. When we failed, I got in. And only small size, a third size. I wanted full size on this play. Didn't get it. And instead, I just covered on the way down and covered at key areas. As you can see on the chart, right? You see that I'm covering at consolidation areas. So I covered some here and some here. And then, because you see here on the 5-minute, we have consolidation. So I covered. And we have here, I believe, is my other cover, right? Yeah, $6. So consolidation cover here, support. So here, resistance. You see support right here, and it's resistance, cover. See support right here, cover. And then I got stopped out right here on the spike because I felt like at this point, I just didn't like that. I don't like that we're breaking down. Each spike has fell lower than the last. Even on the 10-minute, right? Each spike has fell, but then we finally get a spike. I just didn't want to be in it anymore, and I got out above this spike, and I was done with it. Now, it did go down further, but it never broke below blue skies. So I'm happy with the trade at the end of the day. So hopefully that makes sense. If it does make sense, if the way I'm breaking things down, if you're enjoying the way I'm breaking things down, please let me know. And if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. So let's get to some questions. We got, hey, Moto Dude, subscribe. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Steve, dude, I hope your stomach feels better. Rusty, morning, Rusty. Hope you're doing well. Justin, is it better to chart the candle or the wick? Okay, so I think someone just asked this, Justin, and I explained it depends. And why does it depend? Because a couple of reasons. Let's find a chart that I can give you a good example on. Maybe, okay, so look at CCL. Do you see this right here, this candle? Like, if this was showing resistance, like, ignore everything else. If I just try to find something, like, it's not that, everything's circumstantial. But in this case, you'll use the bodies, because the bodies are a key area. It's just obvious. So we have resistance right here, right? It's obvious. That's, it's not just clear, right? It's not everything is just bodies, everything's wicks. Like, these happen to be wicks because I do like reactions, right? At the same time, like, if we have this and these were all bodies, I'm good with that too. Like, I'm not picky. It all depends. Like nothing is set in stone. So sometimes I'll use bodies if it's like so perfect, like every time I line, even though it crosses wicks, but at the same time, like it's hitting perfect bodies and those bodies are strong with volume, because volume is important too, then I'll use it. Okay, I'll definitely use it. But I may have wider risk because of the wicks. Hopefully that helps you, bro. So CCL, I don't have any scanners, BD, I just use the one that Cobra Trading, my broker, gives me through Dash Trader Pro. It's free. It just shows me big percent gainers. And then I use a website. Let me show you this website I use, everyone, because I think it'll be helpful for all of you. It's free, and you can see pre-market big percent gainers and losers. This website, I use it. It's really good. If I don't see too much, I'll open that website and see, is there any big percent losers I'm looking for or gainers. So let's go over CCL here, because that's another trade that it's a long I did, because I know longs is something that I'm constantly working on too, and I want to get better at, so I really want to review this chart. So CCL, I did something very wrong on this chart. I need you to listen. I did something very wrong in this trade. That is why I took a loss at first. Okay, because I shorted this stock first and then I longed it. Okay, and I want to make it very clear, when I try to predict, I end up being wrong. Okay, but when I react to price action, when I pay attention to what the chart's telling me, not about news, not about how I feel, not about what I think, then I do better. So let's go into that. You'll see on this chart, first off, you'll see a first red candle, a red triangle on the chart up here, and then a green triangle. That was a short and then a cover. But on that green triangle, I had a cover for triple the size, because I knew if I was wrong, I wanted to long, I wanted to cover and long full. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So look at this uptrend. You see this uptrend? This is clearly a bullish chart, clearly, right? And if you look on the daily, look at this breakout, right? Breakout and an uptrend. Two things. That's confluence, right? I thought it was going to break down, so I took a short first, but then I said, you know what? If this doesn't break down, this is a long all the way. So I zoomed in on the 5-minute and said, once we start to break above this pivot, which you see on the chart there, I covered and went long at the same time by just putting a stop buy for a bigger position. And then I just sold on the way up. And I also went long on my swing account. And that one I'm still in, because I like the picture, right? Look at the big picture, guys. It's an uptrend. Look on the daily. We get an uptrend on the daily. We get a breakout. We go back further. Like 30 is a key area. 30 is probably where I'll sell some. I'll probably sell a piece of my swing at 28, then a piece at 30, and then I'll hold a third until the chart tells me to get out. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Let me know if it does. I sold my last piece, as you can see up here, almost for $1 a share. I'm happy with this trade because I switched bias, because I wasn't stuck on one situation, and because I wasn't just sitting there saying it has to be a short. I was able to recover. Ravi, wow, you just saved me $200 a month. Just cancel my shitty scanning service. Thanks, man. Yeah, bro. You know what? That's awesome, dude. Thank you for saying that. I'm happy I was able to save you some money, bro. Sean, ideal short under 25 or 27 fell. Sean, I don't know what you're talking about, which stock you're talking about right now. But, hey, man, let me know next time, and I'm happy to look at that. But at the same time, there's resistance here at 27 and the 2680s, which is why I sold my position. You can see on the chart right there, I sold my position on the way up at key areas, right? Slightly above, slightly below resistance at high day, and then right above high day, which is at daily resistance. And you can see daily resistance right here. I'll draw it. You see that? So 27. And I think that might be what you're saying. Sean might be ideal in 27 fail. But look, if this consolidates and breaks, we're going 28. I'll sell a piece again on my swing. and then hold. So I don't predict. I just let price action tell me. And hopefully you see when I predict, I have like a 50-50 flip coin crap chance. But when I wait, it's a better chance. So I hope you guys see this, because so many traders think that who are new, I was one of them. I would see people posting their P&L, posting their charts, and I would be like, man, how did they know? They don't know anything. No one does. No trader knows anything about what's going to happen next, okay? What we do is we look at signals, price action, volume, trends. The trend is your friend. That's been around for decades. There's a reason. And so because of that, when we look at all of that, we let the chart tell us what to do, and then we go with that, right? We go where the least resistance is. In this case, it was a long. So I want you to notice if you hear people say, oh, I knew this was going to happen, or I know this is going to happen, or hey, we always win because we know exactly what's going to happen next, they're full of shit. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense on CCCL. Beginner trader, same here. I'm going to cancel mine too, and thank you. No problem, man. No problem. Hey, a good thank you from all of you guys. If I just save you some money, just subscribe. Share the show with someone else. I appreciate that very much. And for those who already are subscribed, if you want to go above and beyond, hit that join button. Make a small pledge. It helps me grow the show. If you don't know what the show is, I interview tons of successful traders on the show and release them every Monday and Wednesday. So don't forget about that. And yeah, so I just want to let you know that. Let me get some water real quick because I just finished this coffee. That's what I'm talking about, guys. I drink 1.5 of those a day. Anybody got any big plans this weekend? Are you? How'd you do this week? Are you reviewing your trades? Reviewing your trades is so important. All right. So let's go over real quick. If you guys have any questions at all, yes, L700, I've been live trading the past 5 days. I've been live. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I went live trading. You could have caught me trading any one of those days. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell button. Veya, welcome. Welcome to the show, Veya. I see you in the comments on the actual episodes that go live on the YouTube channel on Monday and Wednesdays. Thank you for that. Sergeant Bew or Bo, all these guys following the show, only 42 likes. Come on, guys. Hey, guys, hit that like button. I appreciate that. It means a lot. That's the least you could do. That's a good point. Thanks, Sergeant Bo. Dayak, Facebook was a good scalp on Friday. Cool, man. I don't scalp, so I couldn't tell you if it was a good scalp or not. But I can tell you this was a great short, because look at that. Huge downtrend, major resistance. We got confluence. We also got this confluence right here. So see what I'm? Oh, perfect example. Who is asking me that? Who asked me that question about do I use candles or the wicks or the bodies? If you ask that question, look at this chart. I used a wick. I used a body right here and went past this wick. But do you see why? Like, it makes perfect sense. It's not a science, it's an art. Does that make sense? Please say, whoever asked that question, type, thank you for explaining the candle and body. Thank you. Because then I can make sure you got this point. And other thing, I think someone just asked, L700, do I average down on my losses? Hell no. If I do that, that's called a recipe for disaster. Now, let me point something out. If my plan, Justin Jimenez, thanks again. Thank you, man. Thank you for the donation, brother. That means so much to me, dude. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, man. You know, when you give back to me, because I'm giving back to you guys, it inspires me to keep this up. It shows me there's good people out there who want to improve the community for the better. And I'm hoping every one of you guys, when you find your own success, that you give back, that you help others, okay? Don't be like these people who just post P&L, who just flex all day and who don't really help, or try to sell a service and don't really help. Do something different. Be different. Be the trader that you want to be. Be the trader that everyone wants to share with you. So that way everyone can make sure that they see that you're trying to help the community. Let's make the community better. Oh my God. Okay, Stephanie. That's my wife. I'm a beautiful woman. Hey, $3 make you holla. Hey, I can get that. I give you a little something. You're crazy. You're crazy. Thanks for watching. So I wanted to get back on point because thank you. Oh, Justin, thank you for the body and wick. Okay, so perfect. So thank you for asking that question because it's a good question. And I want to say thank you to L700, I think. Or no, Diaka 808 because you brought up Facebook. And Facebook, look at that. It's a beautiful example of what we're talking about here. So I hope that makes sense. And I'm watching all these big names. And here's a tip, guys. I want to give you a quick tip too. When you're swing trading, if you're new at swing trading, I really suggest you to focus in on big caps. Okay? Because swing trading is important that you're following companies that are doing well. Okay? Don't try to swing trade penny stocks at first. I swing trade penny stocks. Don't get me wrong. Okay? But I'm saying if you want to find your consistency and all you have time to do is trade while you're working, swing trading is the way to go. And if you do big caps, the odds are in your favor. Okay? So if you're going to start swing trading, swing trade big caps. Let's go into anyone else have any questions? All right. I love this question. Elizer Neo. He asked, or she, how do you know it's a breakout and not a fake out? So first, I don't know anything. No trader knows anything. When they say they know, then don't follow them. Okay? Because that's not a real trader. Ask any real trader, they always say, hey, I don't know, but there's good odds. There's probability. There's a high chance. Okay? We just based off our strategies off of probability, odds. That's what we're looking at and letting the chart tell us. So none of us know. But I can give you some ideas of what I'm looking for on a breakout. Okay? Let's look at Facebook. We got Facebook here, right? So let's say you bought this breakout. Well, first off, I will let you know that I wouldn't do that because look at this. Everything matters, okay? If you're buying a breakout, you need to put it into context. Is it a straight up spike? If it's a straight up spike, how often do straight up spikes get sold into? Very, very often. But why does that happen? I'm going to explain that right now. Let's make this line better. The reason that happens is because you have to think. If we spiked, look at this. Let me look at this line. How do I circle this? Sorry, guys. I don't ever use a circle function. Okay. Do you see this circle right here? Can I make that a better color for you? It says I can. Okay. If you have a straight up spike, then everyone buying on the way up, when we break out and we don't really hold, first off, when we're breaking out, people are selling because that's a pretty nice gain. So that's why things sell into spikes, into straight up moves, because people are positioning themselves way before the move. And so that's why there's a lot of selling. On top of that, if you bought this breakout, you got to ask yourself, like, why am I chasing? This is a straight up spike, especially whether you're swing trading or day trading. Just look at this chart as every candle is 1 minute. Even if you're swing trading, that's what I do. When I look at a swing trade position, I'm looking at every daily candle as a 1 minute candle. And so this can relate both to day trading and swing trading because let's just pretend everyone's a 1 minute candle. So if it's a straight up spike, I wouldn't buy that because look what happens. We just have a tank. Now, this is a straight up spike too, right? Because you're probably thinking like, yo, like this is a straight up spike from this area. Straight up. And you're right. And we did hold. But if you buy this break right above this area again, because now you could buy that breakout, or you can even say, I'll wait for here. What happens? Well, we break. And what I would like to see is a hold. because you don't need to be in a rush. If it holds after a strip spike, then it shows you there's a lot of interest that people want to buy at that key area. Now you're probably thinking, well, what about here? What if I got faked out? And you could have gotten faked out. And let's say you get in on one of these days because you see it holding, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to risk this breakout, 219. The only reason I wouldn't risk that right away is because you need to have a wide risk on a breakout play, because so many times they don't hold perfectly, especially for listed stocks. So if you did use this as risk and you got stopped out, that's okay. When we break back above, now I would get back in using this low as my risk, especially because we have consolidation now and we're proving that we're holding support by trying to break through and not flushing. Because if we break through and flush, that's a good sign that everyone's freaking out and getting out. But if we don't break through and flush, instead we come back pretty quick, that's a good sign that there's a lot of support down there. And now you have a key area to risk off of. And you can get in and ride the wave. So hopefully that helps you, bro. So let's go over, I'm going to pull up another chart. If you're new here, thank you for being here. I've been trading live. I've been doing YouTube for a while, but not live. I produce videos every Monday and Wednesday. Mondays, I interview successful traders. On Wednesdays, I produce YouTube exclusive content that's about trading. And then now I've been doing live a lot more often. So if you want to make sure you catch me live trading, which I did every day this week except Tuesday, hit that bell so you're notified and subscribe. And you can go watch my previous live one because you're probably like, who the heck is this dude? And that's a good question. Like, who the heck are you? I don't trust you. I wouldn't trust anybody either. So I'm good with that. Go watch those live videos and just see if it fits your vibe. And if you like them, you can see me trade all these charts we're about to go over. I traded them live. So you can go see how I did it in the moment and what I was thinking and the stress. Because I feel stress. Whew. Can you imagine trading in front of 100 people, 200 people? Yeah, it's stressful. So we're going to review another trade. Let's do CDXC. And let me pull that up here on the chart so that way you guys can see it. CDXC. Can everyone see CDXC? All right. Mr. Howard. I love that name, dude. I love your picture too. He says his interviews have helped me become a better trader. Thanks, man. That means a lot to me, brother. I appreciate that, man. So first off, CDXC, I always look at the, monthly, weekly, big picture, overextension, daily. Whew, huge overextension. So who asked that question? If you're still here, someone asked a question about first red day. Is first red day a good pattern? And I said, I like it. And I traded this. But it's not perfect all the time. And you'll just short because it's red. And here's a pure example. I didn't short this because it was red. It wasn't red. But it became red. And let me explain that. So, perfect example. Because if you just follow people who say, hey, first red day pattern always works, just short the first red day, then you're going to be like them. I mean, you're going to do what they want. You're going to be frustrated, and you're going to pay them to teach you it, and they're never going to teach you it, and they're going to keep telling you first red day, it's easy, and you're going to be frustrated, which means you'll keep paying that monthly fee. Okay, so let me point this out. So first off, we already know it's overextended, which makes me interested, because the stock that went up from 5 all the way up to 25, I'm happy with. Okay, I'm like, you know what? I'm short bias automatically. Doesn't mean I'm short. It just means I'm short bias. I'd still long it because I know some people short just because it's up too much. And if it sets up as a good long, then we get a bad ass squeeze, right? So first things first, I look at this on the 10-minute. I look at every time frame, right? 30-minute. I'm like, okay, well, look, some of these lines won't work, but I'll be like, maybe there's a line. I don't know which one's going to work. Maybe there's a line. Then I go to a different time frame, 15 minute. Okay, well, that looks okay. This looks, I don't really like this line. You know, now that you look at it, it doesn't really look too well. But this one looks pretty good still. Because then you got this, look at that. It's hitting all these points. You can even go there. Look at that. It looks really nice. Held, and so it's reacted. And look at that. Popped up, held, and reacted. And then not only that, I'm not just drawing that one, guys. I'm also doing that. Okay? Because at the time, this wasn't here. So I'm like, okay, this looks good. Because pre-market, I'm watching it, and I'm like, I'm going to get in this. So pre-market, I got in pre-market. You can see on this pop, right near the line. I got in at 21.50, I think. So a little early, but I did get in. And when I got in, I didn't know if this was going to work. Because if I knew, I would have gotten on full size. I got in a third size because we're pre-market. And I thought, and if you watch this trade live, I talk about it. I was hoping that we'd spike and go and test so I can add more to my position. But we didn't get that spike. Instead, we just failed. And I just covered. Okay? So that's the first thing. It wasn't red either. Remember, it was not red at the time. But the chart is telling me what to do. I'm not just saying, oh, I know it's going to happen. The chart's telling me. So when I took a short and then covered on the way down, I had a small piece left, and then I went in big, which didn't work. I took a small loss on that added position on this flush right here. And why did I do that? You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, we never got the pop I was looking for if you watch live. And instead, we started to get rejection. And I saw this right here. And I saw major support at 17. So I said, you know what? If we break this area, we're going to start to flush. We did it later, right? 17's major support right here. And I didn't get in here. Man, I should have watched it. Holy crap. Why did I not watch this? Oh, that's a good lesson. This is why I like to review. I don't trade evening too much. I usually just trade morning, first hour and a half, hour. But sometimes I do. I did trade GME in the evening. What was it, 2 days ago? And AMC. So I do it when it's beautiful. And this is beautiful right here. I should have done it. Because look at this. I know you guys see it. Look at that. Beautiful. Elizer Neo. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. What are your top 3 sets for long and short? You know what? I'm going to get to that right now. Hopefully you have seen how I trade. I don't trade off of setups. I trade off of price action. I draw my own lines, trend lines, and support and resistance. And I let them tell me what to do. I let them tell me, should I go long? Should I go short? I don't just see, oh, this is up 5 days in a row, short. Oh, this is up 2 days in a row, came down 1 day, consolidates, that's long. You know, that's not how I think. I used to think that way. And I found some consistency. I used to short stocks that only went up 3 days in a row. I would short the first red day. I used to just short it all the time. And I found consistency that way. But it also is frustrating because you take a lot of unnecessary losses. So when I found my own style of just trading the chart, it's helped me a lot. So that's the best way I can answer that. Thank you for the donation too so much. I appreciate that very much. And thank you for being here, man. So on this one, I got in full size on this rejection here. When we got the rejection on this candle, thinking it was going to break, and we broke, but we didn't break hard. You see this? We barely broke. So I covered right above this wick because at that point, it's not a good chart. And I'm glad I covered. Look, at the end of the day, sure, it didn't break above here, which hindsight, like, it's a good lesson. Like, when I sized in here on this the short, full size, I sized in for a wide risk, guys, right here. But I didn't like this quick recover. And so the odds are not good that it's going to break. The odds are in the favor that we're going to continue or squeeze. We squeezed, but not too much. And I didn't have a good line. This line was not here, right? This line was not here because before it was just this. So we could have easily squeezed. So I don't like to predict. I like to wait. But the good lesson here, I'm glad I'm reviewing, is now, God, we have a beautiful setup. This is a descending triangle. Evening, after consolidation, fade. I love this. I would short this for sure. I would short this. And probably have wide risk, but it's worth it. Look at that. Just went straight down to $14 from 17. $3 a share, risking maybe $1 a share, 3-to-1 risk reward. Beautiful trade. I missed it. I should have been there. I don't say should have because I don't trade evenings or afternoons like ever. So yeah, it is what it is. But hopefully that makes sense. And this trade ended up being a small, I think, loss. I think it was like a 5th R loss. And if you're wondering what R means, let me tell you that right now. I use R's. So it means this. When a stock, if I'm going to risk, let's say you're trading, let's say you have $1,000 account and you only want to risk $10 per trade. Your 1R is $10. So if you make 3R, you make 30, right? 1R for 3R. If you make 1R, you make 10. If you lose 1R, you lose 10. So I keep it simple. So that way I know if I'm risking 1R, I want to at least make 1R plus, right? Normally I want to make 2R, right? Obviously, or 3R, but there's occasions that I'll go for less. Coffee A. Do you have an auto stop loss in your order, or do you add it after you place the order? First off, Coffee, thank you so much, man. That's awesome. Everyone here is amazing. You guys are donating, being so generous just thank you. Thank you so much, man. It means a lot, dude. Seriously, thank you. Thank you, everyone who's just here supporting the show. Thank you so much. It means so much. So, Coffee, do you have an auto stop loss in your order, or do you add it after you place the order? Do you use limit stop loss or market stop loss? Thank you. So, personally, I add the stop losses after. After I place the order, I add it right away. And if you go watch the live training I did all this week, you'll see me do that. You'll see on the chart, on the DAS chart that you see up here, you'll see me put my order in, get executed, and then you'll see 2 orders pop up. You'll see a stop and a profit target. I do that every time, like clockwork, because I'm not going to hold against my plan ever. If I do, I'll never be here, and I'll be not a good trader. Okay, I'll be a gambler. Do I use limit or market? I use market stop loss. Some people don't like it. I love it. Okay, I love it because I don't want to hold something that goes against my plan because it's not in my limit. Because then if you do that and it keeps going, it's one of those squeezer like KODK, GME, then you're going to take a big, massive loss. But a hard stop market is going to take you out no matter what. So you should have a plan and calculate slippage because markets do give you slippage. Now, do I get slippage all the time? No, not at all. Actually, I calculate slippage on every trade I do. So if I'm risking 1R, I always calculate slippage for like 1.2R, so I'm good. And I feel like 75 to 80% of my trades I get stopped. When they do get stopped, about 75 to 80% of them stop right at the price I want or a penny or two above. So I don't have a problem with it. But there are occasions where it stops 20 cents above. But that's why I calculate my risk for 1.2, 1.3 for slippage. So keep that in mind. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the donation, man. Let's go. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them. I'll get to them. Oh, my neck's killing me. Just a second. And let's... Tommy Smith. Alex, do you want to review your best trades for the week with us? Hey, Tommy. I'm reviewing trades that I did yesterday. I don't look at my trades. So here's the thing. You know what I calculate as best trades? It's execution, not P&L. Because P&L means nothing, okay? I need you to know that. Everyone who especially is looking for the consistency, you need to know that. Because execution means everything. Because if you execute well, everything else comes. So if I execute well, I look at, and when I talk to one of my buddies, one of my good friends, Scott, he was on the show. He's been training for 2 decades. When I talk to him every day, and I review my trades with him, just talk with him, and just say, man, I ask him, I'm like, what was your best trade? I go, what was your best trade today? And I tell him, like, I don't care about what was your biggest profit today. I want to know what's your best trade. He's like, and I clarify by executing well, and it was a perfect trade, like great setup. You followed your plans, you followed your rules. I don't care what you made, and we review those. That's what I do, because that's what's important. Because if I can replicate great executions, everything else follows. So what I'm doing today is reviewing yesterday's trades, because I reviewed yesterday. I always review the day before, and I don't have all those charts ready to review right now, so I can't do that. But what I will say is let you know how I think. Brian, Alex, great chat today and great thoughts, scans. Happy you have a power back too. Can't wait to see your interview with Cody. Would love to see one with Nate and Tim Parker. Hey, Brian, thanks, man. So Cody's interview is coming soon live. I've already interviewed him. I'm actually working on an interview with Tim Parker right now, I believe. And Nate's been interviewed on my show like 3 times. So definitely go watch those if you haven't. And if you're wondering what he's talking about my interviews, if you're new here, welcome. I interview tons of successful traders. I have over 100 plus episodes of Be the Trader Show. I'm on all podcast platforms. But I'm also on YouTube. I release those videos every Monday. And every Wednesday, I release other videos just about trading. And now, seems like I'm enjoying this live thing. So I may be living a lot more. I've did 4 or 5 this past week. And so make sure you hit the bell and subscribe so you're notified, because one of those may vibe with you. Christian, good question. Alex, do you place your stops at obviously spots like others, SNR, which means support and resistance, or perhaps higher or lower so you don't get hunted? Let me ask you this, Christian. The stop hunted, you probably got that because you follow someone who says, oh, these guys hunt you. But that's the only, you just believe what they say. And I'm not saying they're wrong, but I promise you more times than not, they're just saying that because they heard it. And because they freaking just pass their wild knowledge. Like, you know how people just say things because it's always been said, but there's no proof? I'm not saying there's no proof. If you have proof, good for you. But what I will say is I put them at key areas. I'm not going to put them at random areas. Now, at the open, in the first like 10 to 30 minutes, I'm going to have wider risk. So like if I want to stop out, let's say on this chart here. Let's pull up a different chart. That way it's easier at the open. Let's go. What was that trade that we talked about? Was it CDXC, CCL? No, it wasn't. It was LIXT. So at the open, like if I'm going to risk here, I'm going to give it more room. So it depends, right? If this area was held so many times, right? 820 has been holding so many times. It's key. I may use 820 because I'm just going to use 820, especially at the open. But let's say I only hit once and it's right at the open. We know the open's very emotional. So I'm going to have a wider stop. So I may keep it at 830 because maybe it goes to 820 to 825 and then rejects. So yes, there's sometimes that I do that. And I think you'll see that on my live. Like, I think I even use on this one, I think I put 840 or 850 just to give me some extra room to see what happens when it's 820. Because if it just breaks 825, 830, and it rejects, because we're at the open, here's what happens at the open. Emotions. Everyone's emotional. Let me tell you this. I'm willing to bet 99% of you guys who are watching this right now, and I'm one of them. As we get closer to 9:30 Eastern time, your heart starts to race. As the market opens, you're like, ooh, and it may be racing because you're excited. It may be racing because you're scared. It may be racing because you're nervous, but it's racing. That means emotions are there. That means everyone's feeling that way. And that means emotions are highs, which means reactions are high, which means I need to be careful. I need to have a little wider stops until we get further down the day. As the day gets on, stops become tighter because emotions, as the day goes on, because emotions get lower, right? That's how I see it. Good job, Lisa. Hopefully you did well. Hopefully you did well. Christian, thank you. Yeah, no problem, brother. Tommy, I was in LIXT short in the 740s. Good for you, man. Hey, seems like you did really well. Oh, you got stopped out. Looking at higher time frame, it makes no sense now. Exactly, dude. That's why I always look at the time frames. I'm always trading on the 10 and 5 minute. Always. And I do execute sometimes on the 1, but I'm not judging my stops because that makes no sense. Yeah, it breaks high a day, but let me tell you this. I used to have a rule a long time ago when I first started that worked horribly for me. I was like, if it breaks high a day, I got to get out because you see all these gurus just make things so simple and they give you easy rule. Like if it breaks high day, you got to get out. If that was the case, then everyone would be successful, right? But it's not. I mean, this broke high day, but it makes no sense to get out because we have key areas that have not been broken. We also have this whole area right here was resistance temporarily. This area right here, we have this trend that still hasn't even reclaimed. So, and in fact, you can even see that perfect. Look at that. Oh my God, it's perfect. So there's that. So hopefully, and then at the time we had this. You see that right there? So at the time, that was a really good entry. It's just why I entered a small position. But I want it higher. So hindsight's 2020. It is what it is, but good lesson for me. Very good lesson. I should have went in full size at this rejection here at least. And then just adjusted my risk, or maybe even just have wide risk because this thing had so much room. So much room. But hopefully that helped. Hey, I like that you asked that. I like that you point that out, Tommy, because it's a good point. Lisa, good job. By the way, it doesn't matter if you're green or red. That doesn't mean it's a good trade. All that matters is you execute it well. That's what matters. That's a good trade. Whether you're red or green, doesn't matter. Let's go into, anyone have any charts they want me to pull up to review, maybe for the rest of the week, whatever, like a swing trade, day trade, or just have questions at all? I'm happy to answer those because we already kind of reviewed all my trades. So I'm happy to kind of go into other trades, right? Other things that you would like me to go into. Otherwise, I'm just going to look at some. Amen, Lisa. I'm glad you agree. I think we're on the same page there. I'm just going to look at all these big caps. I always look at the same big caps just to kind of get a general idea what my plan is going to be if I want to get into a swing. Golly. Apple's not looking good right now for people. And I don't see a good entry yet, but I'm watching it. I want to get long one day. But right now, it's not a good time. It looks terrible. But for now, Let's put an alert just to keep me aware of the chart. You know what? We do have, let's go to the weekly. I'm very curious if it comes down to here too. All right, let's see. Lauren Zukas, how about XT&T? I almost traded this yesterday. You can see I was watching it. And this was a great trade in the afternoon. Look at that. Golly, look at that. But not much range though. So I wouldn't have been in it. And it's afternoon. But right now, if you're wondering where my lines came from, look on the weekly, daily. Then we go in on the 30-minute, 15-minute. Beautiful line, obvious, right? Right now, we're backside. So this is already on my radar. Let me make sure it's on my watch list. It is. Because right now, I'm watching this like a hawk. I'll be watching this just to see what happens. But its potential, it could be a short. Because, I mean, we're up from 2. But we're down way too much right now. But I would love for it to spike. So thanks for bringing that up. Let's go back. Just reviewing just different big caps just to see if I see anything set up right now. I just see like nothing yet, but just drawing. Hopefully this helps you guys. You can see like key areas on the chart that I'll be paying attention to. American Airlines has been an interesting one. I've been watching this, waiting for a signal to go long. I've been swinging this over and over again with almost all airlines, getting in on dips, selling. But right now I'm just waiting for really another dip. I don't really see anything, but I do want to know when it breaks because it could change the thing. It could change everything. Let's see. Thanks for the nice haircut. Thanks, bro. What do you think of PLTR? Hari asked. Right now, nothing. I was just reviewing. I just typed in your name. I was just reviewing it, and right now I don't see a play for me, so I'm just watching it until it sets up, which it's not. I will not be touching this at all. And we also got that downtrend. I bet you if we extend that, yep, look at that. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful. Do you see that? So I wouldn't be touching this yet, but I am watching it. Definitely watching it. Because it could be a swing. It could be a swing. This thing has spiked crazy before in the past. Good volume. And so because it's done that before, it could do it again. Now, right now, I'm not interested in buying it, but I am interested in watching it to see what happens. We got these key areas. I think 25 is not really that important, but I just like to watch it. And just because it breaks 30 doesn't mean I'll get in. It's how it breaks, right? How it does things is important. Confluence. Remember, guys, as I've been reviewing these trades, confluence is what's so important. Let's see. Can you guys give me 1 second? I have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so someone just asked Todd Duff if I can repost that website I use to see pre-market and for big percent gainers and big percent losers. I just posted that for you, my man Todd. Hopefully you can get it. I will never share a P&L ever, Matt, if you're new here, which you must be. If you're looking for that, you need to go talk to someone else. I'm sure you can find tons of gurus out there who flex all day and say they're real, so go check them out. It's my privacy, and I'm not about that. Beginner trader, what broker do you use? I use Cobra Trading. They do sponsor the show Be the Trader when I interview traders, and if you reach out to them, let them know I sent you. It does help me out a bit. It does give me a small affiliation. However, dude, they're like Chick-fil-A. Okay, they're the best service out there, and I don't pay much at all, if any, for borrows, because if you go through their live chat, they're mostly free. And then when I do pay borrows, like this week, I think it was the most expensive I paid in a while, and that was 0.08. And I think the 2 weeks before that, I only paid once, and I short a lot. Only paid one borrow, and it was like 0.005, 005, that's right. So they're very cheap, and more of the times than not, I'm trading for free. So there's that. Let's see. Carly, what does a triangle and PLTR mean that you have with dashed lines? Triangle and PLTR that I have with dashed lines. Carly, can you help me understand that? What do you mean? What triangle? Do you mean yeah, I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about this chart right here, or are you talking about the this chart up here? Carly, make sure you come back to me with that. I don't understand what you're saying. Christian, review SPY, great trend line from March 2020 lows. Yeah, I know, Christian. We were just talking about that earlier today. Look at this. I'm watching it. You see my alerts. I'm watching this. Could be a long, could be a short. I don't predict. I'm waiting. I am waiting patiently. But we'll see. But I am salivating because I'm hoping we'll crack. But if we don't, we don't. I think we were just approved for stimulus checks. So there's chances we're going to get a lot more people trading again and jumping in. Because the market has shifted lately. You know, beginning of 2021, super swamped. Tons of volume, tons of people. And then this month slowed down. It did slow down. Carly, what's that ticker? Cross dash lines, dash white lines on the right. Oh, I draw these. I draw these by right clicking, drawing. I click and I draw. I draw all my own lines. They're basically trends. So right now we're trending down. Like, so if anything, it's a short, you know, maybe shorting the trend, and that's about it. But at key areas, right? That's what that means. I draw all these myself. Support. I like support and resistance to be yellow. I like my lines to be white. So look, guys, first off, thank you all for being here. It means a lot to me. And what I will say is, if you're enjoying this show, make sure you hit the bell, because I'm going to be doing a lot more. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy talking to you all. I enjoy trading. I've been trading live lately, and I've been enjoying that too. Did it 4 times this week. So make sure to subscribe. And if you don't even care about the live, that's cool. Check out the interviews I do with tons of successful traders, from long buys to short, from 2 decades experience plus to less, all successful, better than me. You know, they're really good. And those episodes drop Mondays and Wednesdays. Okay, so make sure you know that. But other than that, I just want to let you all know I thank you all for being here. If you don't know, my mission is to change the trading community for the better. And I'm hoping you can help me do that by giving back. So as you get better in your career, think about that. How can you give back? Can you help others? Can you help one person? Can you help 100 people? Whatever it is, do that. Let's be better. Let's give back and change the game up a bit, right? Let's try to do that. So hopefully you're getting that here. If you are getting value, please share the show with someone else, because that's one way to give back to me. Subscribing, hitting the bell, share the show. Those are all three. Hitting the like button. Those are all free ways to do it. If you want to go above and beyond, you can hit that join and make a small pledge donation. And I appreciate all of that. So thank you guys so much. But I'm about to wrap this up. I'm going to take on maybe 4 more questions. I've got 4 or 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to get out of here. But if you have questions, feel free to throw them in here, and I'll get to them. I'll put a timer, 5 minutes. Justin, Disney. I love Disney. I've been trading Disney long so many times. I bought Disney here at 110, sold it here at 128, bought it again here at 110 because it's a breakout, sold it again here at 132, bought it again at 120, sold it here at 149. Swing trading. Beautiful, beautiful setup. But I'm not in it anymore. I've been watching it though. Right now, Disney's wild. I love Disney because I like Disney. You know, my wife is a Disney fanatic, and we go Disney every year. And let's see what it's doing. This is since January. I'm watching it. I don't have a plan to buy it yet, but if I did buy it, I'd buy it this trend line. And I have wide risk like this 180s. But right now, I'm watching it. We just had a failed, because you also got to watch this. Like, we also have a failed breakout, right? And that's important. So, big picture, I don't like that we have a push straight spike, right? That's why we failed probably. Straight spike out of this breakout, but failed breakout. Now we have a rejection off the trend, which is great. Showing me a lot of dip buyers, but you should have bought down here, if anything. But I'm just watching it now, but I like it. It's still a strong stock. It's definitely strong. Darren, do you focus on just 1 or 2 setups? I focus on, so you must be new, so thank you for being here. But I trade based off of trends and support and resistance. I draw them myself. So I wouldn't really call it just setups. I just trade what I see on the chart. Let the chart talk to me. So in this case, the chart's telling me this is bullish. So I'll be looking for a long. Where would I long? You know, maybe here at the trend line, small piece. But I just wouldn't stop out if it broke it because we still are bullish. Big picture. And this will be a swing setup. What's your watch list? I'll make my watch list the day of, Lisa. So whenever I open up the stocks, currently I can tell you what I have on my watch list, but it'll be completely different. I currently have XTNT, AMC, FSR, GME, CCIV, CCL, LIXT, Rocket, JE, ONTX, CDXC, METX, CAN, KOSS, AFI, Ruby. But that's all that I traded on Friday. On Monday, I'll look at the big percent gainers, big percent losers. I'll delete some of these from my watch list if they're not setting up properly. In terms of setting up, I mean drawing my trend lines and seeing easy trades, easy areas to buy or short. And then I'll compare that with the big percent gainers on the day and add new ones. Why is no one talking about Facebook? Crazy cash flow, perfect fundamentals, trajectory, 1 trillion undervalued. You just sound like someone who doesn't, I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't care about any of that. All I care about is price action. And what I will say is right now, Facebook is definitely weak. It's definitely a weak setup. But we do have support. I'm not saying it's to go down. We're also forming almost a giant descending triangle. But look at that. We're weak all the way right now. This is not a good buy right now. But it could be a great swing later. Right now, I'm watching it. But right now, it's not a good setup for a long. Look at that. Perfect. And we held. What does that look like? That looks like Ruby. Right, guys? Let me show you Ruby. I'm going to compare them. Look at Ruby right now. You see Ruby? Look at Ruby. Everyone look at Ruby. Look at this, okay? Look at Facebook. Do you see that? Do you see that? Perfect. Perfect. But I'm still watching Facebook. This is important. Look at that. That's important. So I'll be watching Facebook. I'm not saying homeboy's wrong. I apologize, the master dad, because I sometimes get emotional too. But I want you to know I don't mean anything ill will to you, my man. What I will tell you is thank you for pointing it out. I don't care personally about fundamentals. I don't care about news when I'm swinging. I care about price action because that's what matters. Stock markets don't really, how many times have people said Tesla's overpriced and it keeps going higher? How many times have people said the same thing about GameStop? How many times have people said about Hertz when it went bankrupt and then it squeezed all the way up and went higher? Because that doesn't matter. Fundamentals don't matter. News don't matter. You know what matters? You and I matter. Our emotions matter. Our money matters. Where we believe it's going to go, we put money towards that and we make it move. Okay? Stocks don't dictate how much a company is really valued. Stocks are basically emotions moving and money and what we believe is going to happen. And traders and swing traders trade off of our emotions, people's emotions, and we trade off of price action and charts and setups, right? And trends. That's what matters, in my opinion. So you can call me wrong. That's cool. And you could be right too, bro. So we both just have different opinions. But right now, I like Facebook still, though. I'm watching it now. Thank you for pointing it out again. Because after further evaluation, I could swing this. So I'll be watching that. But look, guys, thank you so much for all being here. Please do me a solid. At least share the show with someone else. Let your friends know. Let other traders know. Subscribe. Hit the bell. I appreciate that so much. Hit the like button too. Thank you so much for everyone for being here.